At Autocar, we go to extraordinary lengths to get you the cars first. We've driven cars off the showroom floor, we've driven cars off the motor show floor. But here in a first, we are at BMW's plant in Chennai to drive this, the all-new X4 off the production line. As I climb up into the X4, strap in and then gently drive off the line, I notice the odometer reads 0. Fancy that! Anyway, we're headed to the East Coast Road via some picturesque back roads and I just can't wait to drive the new X4. But first, let's take a closer look at the design. Must say, I like what I see from the rear. The squat stance, the steeply raked rear windscreen, they really do hit the spot. And I even like the three-dimensional cladding running along the bottom of the doors. And then there's that stealth bomber-inspired spoiler, the one that sits at the top of the rear windscreen. It's neat. At 4.7 meters, the X4 isn't huge, but what leaves a strong impression is just how bulky it looks from the side. The nose with its high-mounted grille and LED lights, however, doesn't make as strong a statement. BMW playing too safe? Probably. On the inside, with its elevated driving position and swept back A-pillars, the X4 gives the driver a clear view of the road ahead. The steering adjust is manual, a bit odd on a car at this price, but the adjustable side bolsters and extendable thigh support add a sporty feel. Now the X4 is quite similar to the X3 on the inside, and there are also a few bits from the X5, so it's a bit of a mix and match. But quality levels are fantastic. There's this new textured piece of trim here, again over here, and of course you have your fantastic leather covered steering wheel. This whole top of the dash is in really high quality leather, soft touch. I have Apple CarPlay wirelessly now. It's fantastic to use. You can use the CD. So overall, a really comfortable cabin. It may not be very exciting to look at, but it's very comfortable and well built and well equipped too. And it's not just quality. Functionality is also first rate. You, for example, get a big iDrive knob, a touchscreen, voice commands, and even gesture control. The latter allows you to twirl your fingers and raise or lower the volume, or even stab two fingers at the screen and change the channel. With its low roof and preference of form over function, the X4's rear seat isn't exactly designed to limo spec. Now the low roof of the X4 looks fantastic on the outside, but in the back seat it does manifest itself in a bit less headroom. That's especially if you're around 6 feet tall, your head is going to make contact with the roof on bumps, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, decent amount of thigh support, not too much, but leg room is good. And the seat back is a bit upright, and that's despite the fact that you can adjust it like this. The presence of the panoramic sunroof, however, means you can always brighten up the rear, especially if it becomes a bit claustrophobic. The X4 comes powered by 3 different engines. The 190 horsepower 20D isn't tested here, but we have the larger 30D and the 30i petrol. First up, the big diesel. Now the X4 comes with the 30D engine, and that means when you put your foot down, the 6-cylinder just goes ballistic. Strong, hard performance, incredible torque. It's just an absolute delight. It has the torque, it has the power, it revs past 5,000 RPM. This is BMW at its best. Is it any wonder that at times it even feels like a free revving petrol? BMW says the X4 30D can also do 0 to 100 in a claimed 6 seconds dead. Really? This thing feels even faster. Now BMW's 3-litre straight-six diesel has been around for ages, but here it puts out 265 horsepower and a chest-thumping 620 Nm of torque. No wonder it feels like you're surfing a tsunami every time you put your foot down. Where this 6-cylinder also excels is refinement. Now, we're doing around 1000 or 1500 RPM, and you just can't hear the motor. You can hear the tires, you can hear the wind, and even if you step it up, it's smooth and creamy and silent. And then when you put your foot down, even a bit, this is what happens. It just takes off and it feels effortless. Now, BMW's diesels aren't always the most refined, but here, clatter at idle, rattle on overrun, and resonant boom are much better damped. Now, the X4 also comes with this 30i petrol. It's a 2-litre unit, and you'd think that it'd be a bit down on power. But no, it's got a nice strong mid-range. It's smooth and seamless. And keep your foot down, and there really is quite a bit of performance. Still, it doesn't feel as effortless and lacks the sheer oomph of the diesel. What also makes the X4 enjoyable is the ubiquitous 8-speed ZF automatic. It's smooth, jerk-free, and when you're in a hurry, even upshifts with a satisfying thump. And where this gearbox also works extremely well is in corners. Put it in sport, and it'll execute a quick shift just when you need it. And that really does help give you that sporty feel. And what makes it particularly pleasing is that it doesn't have that protective twin-clutch gearbox pause. The X4, with its 4-wheel drive, even drives around corners reasonably well. But the X4 is also extremely good is in fast corners. There isn't much body roll, and the 4-wheel drive has tremendous grip. But what spoils the driving experience a bit is the steering. It's a bit numb and clearly not BMW's best effort in a long time. Really wish the steering were better. It's inconsistent, unnecessarily weighty at times, and doesn't give you much confidence either. Now, despite the 19-inch rims, the X4 rides pretty well. It's got 50 profile tires. BMW have adjusted the dampers to make it comfortable, so it can take stuff like this in its stride. And that just makes this car so much more usable. Look at that. That was a pretty big bump. Sure, there's a bit of stiffness in the springs, but the suspension feels robust and absorbent enough to drive through most bad patches without slowing down. And that's a big plus. With prices expected to start at 60.6 lakhs for the 20D, not tested here, and top out at 65.9 lakhs for the big 30D, the X4 nestles snugly between the X3 and the X5. It doesn't quite offer the practicality of the X3, and nor is it the sharpest tool in BMW's box when it comes to driving pleasure. Still, what you get for your money is loads more attitude, the look of an SUV almost twice its price, and with the 30i and the 30D, plenty of usable performance. No, the X4 isn't for everyone, and yes, there are compromises to be made if you buy one, but if looks, performance, and a relatively competitive price are important, the assembled in India X4 offers plenty of SUV for the money.